Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Trimble Business Center Real World Use Cases webinar. My name is Stefan Agirio. I'm joining together with Dan Hamilton. We're going to introduce ourselves in a bit. We are recording the webinar, so we will share the recording later on with you. And at the end, we will also have a Q&A. So if there's any questions, please just ask the questions in the Q&A. And we will answer the questions at the end of the webinar. Yeah, it's 4:30 Central European summertime. So for us Europeans, almost weekend. For most Westerly people, still some time to work, but we'll just get started now and then enjoy a good weekend soon. So today the objective is we're going to show you just some different applications, how different users from different regions utilize Trimble Business Center. And therefore, we will just give you a high-level overview about functions, features that Business Center is providing. And if there's any questions that you have or want to learn more, just feel free to contact us or your local Trimble dealer after this webinar. So we'll give you a quick introduction, and then we're going to talk about issues that contractors face at the moment. So there's, of course, a lot of different factors and issues that we have in the market. So we're going to talk about construction sites and problems in the field, and of course, how we can resolve those problems with Trimble Business Center. We've collected a couple of different applications to just demonstrate you how different users are working with Business Center, and we're going to go through those features and applications, mainly in the PowerPoint, but some of them we're going to show also live in the software. So my name is Stefan Agirio. I'm software sales based in Munich, Germany, along with my colleague Dan Hamilton, who will manage the Q&A at the end. He's based in Wales in the UK. Together we cover Europe, Middle East, Africa for Trimble software sales, so everything related to Business Center, the whole connected site, and software solutions around that. And of course you. So thanks a lot for participating at this webinar. But just a quick overview, we are developing quite well. We are now more than 11,000 employees, and the very positive thing to see is that software is becoming more and more important. So our software revenue is increasing steadily over the last years, and we are developing a lot into software and putting a lot of effort in. And therefore, we came up also with the whole ecosystem along the construction side. So starting basically from the idea of building something down to the demolition of a project. So we have concept and design, feasibility, schedule and project management, execution, so everything about machine control, surveying systems, and of course the software connected to it, and then down to the end, own, operate, and maintenance of projects. So today we are, of course, talking in the civil engineering and construction workspace around the execution phase and how our Trimble Business Center software can be used for several applications. And I'm really glad to see that there's a lot of participants because we've published that webinar in Trimble Business Center version 5, our new version of Business Center, with quite some new functionality and also some new features in terms of programming and getting your own scripts into the software. So talking a bit about the evolution of technology before we go into the applications, what we've done here is we've mapped down all the innovations that we came up with during the last 60 years. And as you can see, that curve of technology is quite steep during the last 10, 20 years. And that's especially in terms of software, digitalization, new products, and the curve is very, very steep. And sometimes you feel like, okay, Business Center, we have a new update, new version 2 weeks later. So that's just because that curve is really steep. There's new formats coming up, new interfaces, and we really need to keep track with that curve. And if you look a couple of years back, that's not so long ago, there was at the base camp of the Mount Everest with the Yak, with a GPS-mounted system. And then later on, they were climbing up on top of the mountain to really get the actual elevation of the Mount Everest. And nowadays, we just laugh about, we take a drone or satellite information, and we have a highly accurate position and elevation. So that's just an example of how steep technology is increasing. So if you talk about applications and workflows, it's often most important part is, of course, the progress at construction sites. And I think nobody has seen that linear kind of progress on construction sites. If there's anybody here, then please share the information with us how you handle it. But I often compare it with my car navigation. If I go from Munich to Frankfurt, it tells me 400 kilometers, 5 hours, and then I start driving and there's traffic jams, there's accidents where I have to go around, and then I end up like this. And that's often how we also see construction sites, that we don't know what is the progress, what is going on, what can we improve. And therefore, if I come back to car navigation, by utilizing connected solutions like Google Maps, where everybody is connected, we know where other people are, how long the traffic jam is, and we're going to get the best routing to get our progress as linear as possible. And of course, we have solutions that we want to talk about that will help to keep track of the progress and improve the productivity on site as well. So issues that we see pretty often is, for example, the interpretation of design data. So often construction companies only get 2D data or PDF or even just paper plans. We need to get good data, 3D data out of that. So that's a big hurdle on site. The next topic is, of course, delivering design into the real world. So how do we manage that? Do we send a surveyor to do some stake out in the field or utilize machine control systems? So these are some topics, how we can deliver the science into the real world. But I think Trimble is very known for machine control and surveying systems. So I think that is not such a big issue at the moment. Another one is optimizing machine utilization. Is the machine working or is it idling? Is the machine operator maybe just having a lunch break and leaving the machine running to have the air conditioning cooling it down? And another point is monitoring the progress. So what is actually going on site? If you're using scheduling software like Trimble TLOS for time distance scheduling, how do you know whether you're on track or not? So that's often an issue, because if you don't know where you are in your car and you cannot go around that traffic jam, you only know that by knowing where you are and what you do. So monitoring progress is also a pretty important topic that we have at the moment. Along with quality assurance, for example, for compaction is also an increasing topic. Quality of compaction data and sending that back for quality assurance. Last but not least, the issue that we see is finding qualified staff. And of course, that's a big problem that we have at the market, to find qualified people to get in construction companies. But we also believe that utilizing high technology is getting more people and more traction to companies like Trimble Site Vision, the new technology that we're going to release this year, along with other solutions. So what we're going to talk today is about Trimble Business Center. And Business Center is kind of a software that supports you across the whole construction stage of a project. And that is also helping you to get rid of some of those issues and improve workflows along the construction process. So what we have with Business Center version 5, Business Center version 5, of course, we've merged the Business Center HCE and the Business Center version of Geospatial into one new product. So with the new version, we can actually have the whole portfolio of features like takeoff for estimating, bidding, 3D data preparation, mass haul optimization, everything around reporting and billing. That's also a big topic in Central Europe to prove to the job owner what kind of volumes they were doing. geodetic calculations, the whole photogrammetry, COGO, CAD functionality, of course, construct, edit, improve, along with scanning technologies. So these are kind of high-level overview of features that Business Center is offering across the project. So I just want to come to some use cases and how our users are utilizing Business Center. So we have one site manager. That's what I've learned, for example, from him. They're using it for cranes and the loading diagrams. So in the picture, you can see the circles with the different weights and the loading diagram to know on site where to position the crane and on what radius they can move what kind of weight. And they're also doing volume and surface calculation. And what they really like is designing of cut fill slopes and surface ties. So Business Center is really cool when it comes to creating slopes, designs, connecting surfaces. And they are stating that they're saving a lot of time during the site preparation, along with the quality assurance and billing at the end, which leads to higher profits. And they're really doing nice projects. By the way, if you're interested in more projects or want to get in touch with some of the construction companies and their applications, just let us know and we can get some contacts for you. Another one, project manager at our mid-size company, they're utilizing almost all of the models of Business Center, including site takeoff for the bidding phase, and of course for the utilities. They get existing line work, and based on that line work and points, it's very easy for them to generate the whole utility network. They got all the material and site improvements in the library. So it's very, very easy to create those utility networks. And of course, once they have the utility networks, they're getting all the trenches automatically based on the depth, elevation, and information of the utility. Easy to use in terms for another company. They're doing a lot of cut fill maps between the science and current situation or original ground design, which makes it easy for them to track progress and see where they need to improve and still need to move materials. Of course, the whole topic around terrain models based on the design. And what is also a big advantage here is exporting the design data to several machine control systems. So of course they have Trimble machine control, but with Business Center, they can actually export to any machine control vendor to get the designs to the machines. Another topic here, cleaning and reducing the amount of data. I mean, everybody knows when we get a DXF from the designer or owner, it's often full with thousands of layers, double lines, and they're utilizing Business Center to clean up the whole project and then designing the 3D models for their utilities, roads, and also compact sites. A very nice application that I see from that construction company here is they've also been dealing with Business Center for many years. And what they like to do is do presentations during the tender phase. So they get, of course, the design data, and they do a lot of aerial photogrammetry. So they merge the design data with the photogrammic data with the point clouds. And they might as well add some SketchUp files, IFC files into Business Center. And Business Center is very powerful to migrate different file formats and sources, as well as computing 3D models and big point clouds. So can be used very well for presentations. So talking about some possible applications, of course, one is getting more and more important in terms of BIM, building information modeling, and digitalization. which is the IFC format. So as today, you can already import IFC files, as you can see here, with all the details and different levels. So there you can see a bridge as well as a road design. The road design comes from NovaPoint, and even with the road signs and road markings that we get here. And based on those IFC files, you can create points and surfaces out of that files to create your model for the machine or for the surveying system. So another big topic is converting bad data into good data, and that's a very popular application in Business Center. Let's say if you receive a PDF file, you can drag and drop that into Business Center, and Business Center will, after you georeference the PDF, will digitize and extract the objects based on the vector PDF, and finally you will end up with a nice 3D design. So until we get proper design data from the job owner, there's some manual work we need to do, which is actually quite easy. And I will have an example. So here I just have a PDF file that I want to drop into Business Center. Oh, sorry, it's a DWG file. So that's now here in Business Center. And also a nice feature is if you're a bit lost in terms of where the project is, you can turn on or off a background map if you have a Trimble Connect account, and then you will see where the project is located. So you can either use just that kind of view, the Trimble map view, or also an image view. So, but now it is about getting that DWG file into 3D. So what ways do we have to check what kind of file format that is? So what we see here is some contour lines with some text elements, with some elevations, some building pads with elevation. And I see some points, but these are also not really points, but just text elements. As you can see, text 93.066 without elevation. And the same applies for the lines. So there's a nice display option here. So you can say everything without elevation, display in gray, for example. So now we see that we only have a 2D DWG file that we need to get on 3D now. And I quickly want to show you how easy that is by utilizing the data prep function. So what I can do is I just quickly select all my line work with elevations. I apply this, and now it's automatically elevating those lines into 3D based on the text. So all the lines in between, I can also just elevate by crossing. So Business Center is automatically interpolating the elevations for those lines. So just quickly go over, and we can do one verification at the end. So this is done. And just to double check, we could see that line here should be 93.1. So if we look in the options, it is 93.1. Another application which is very often used in the UK is if you get a file with just points, and not points, but text elements representing points and elevation. You can also say you have the function create points from spot elevations. So I can also select all my points here. And I just say, where's the location of the point? Is it the insertion point, or a X letter or decimal point, or might be a CAD object with a circle, etc. In that case, we just leave it like that. And then we can apply this. And now we have also 9 points created from the spots elevations. So if I click on point 7 now, it should be 93066. 93066. So that's working very fine. The same you can do with the building pads. So everything inside will be elevated. This and this. And of course, it needs to be closed lines. So, and that's all it takes to get it into 3D. Now we can finally do a surface. If we are looking 3D, we do see that these are 3D lines now. And I can just create a surface, design. And now we have a nice surface that we can use for the machine control. So that's how easy it is. The same can be done for PDF. There's also PDF files that you can very easily just drag and drop into Business Center. Like there, I have a PDF file, just a road. So you can either georeference that PDF file, or I just to have this done quicker, give it a distance by 100 meters from here to here, and a bearing by using the north here. Compute. So now we have the PDF orientated and scaled. And next step is just to extract the vector information from the PDF. So we can import that. And then you will see that it doesn't take too long. And Business Center will have all the objects in 3D, all the line work that you can click on, etc. And now you have, again, tools in the data prep like the project cleanup to clean up empty layers or join lines with small gaps or delete double lines. And then Business Center is also running through the projects, and you can get this on 3D to get exported for machine control. So that is data prep. If there is any questions, let us know if you want to learn more about this application. Another topic is, of course, earthworks and the earthwork balance. So as you can see in the picture, there's a design of parking lots. Below is a cut fill map, and right top you can see the 3D view. You can see the design, pretty level pane, and the original ground as well as in the cross section. But you might have the application that you're not allowed, or you don't want to get material on site, neither to remove material from site. So you can either, well, calculate it manually by moving up and down the design until you have 0 cut fill balance. But there's also a very nice function in Business Center to find the earthwork balance, and then Business Center will tell you that you got to lift the design elevation by 39 centimeters, and then you will have 0 cut fill balance. So that's also a cool feature that is often used for design optimization. Cross sections, as you can see here, of course, we are also very much involved in road construction. And here on the left, you can see a PDF file. So whether it's a PDF file or just cross sections that come from a DXF or DWG, you can import them into Business Center. And then based on those cross sections, you can digitize them and get the real corridor cross section in Business Center with the different materials. And if you have geology, you can also add boring logs to define the geology. And if you have textures, for your materials. You will see, as in the right-hand view, a nice 3D model of the road, and you can also verify the design before you send it out to the field by using the 3D drive view. So then Business Center will drive along the alignment, and you will get a nice overview of how that looks like. Another topic is utility modeling. I've already talked at the beginning about some applications. So today it's very easy in Business Center to define utilities for the whole takeoff reasons, all the costs related to the utilities, to the manholes, to the pipes, etc. But the nice thing is that you also have a library in Business Center. So as you can see in the profile view on the right-hand side, based on the depth of the utility, Business Center will automatically create a 3D trench here and connect that to the original ground surface. and we will follow up in an email with you. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you.